What's up? What's up? Y'all ready? I hope y'all ready because I got some things to say about this episode. This was much better than part six, episode six. I didn't even bother to review episode six. It just was just light work to me. So just bland. It didn't upset me, but it just like definitely had the vibe of a filler episode. So I was a little frustrated because episode five before that was real good. But the first instance, I had to replay it like five times to be sure I understood what Rock said. Because at first it sounded like she said, I don't know nothing about what happened to Unique. And I'm like, to Unique? I'm like, that's Unique right there. you know? So I just think she was so, she's a very good actress. So I think that she was acting so scared in the moment that it gave you the slight impression that she said, I don't know what happened to Unique. But I was able to figure out pretty quickly that it was her or whatnot. So you go from that, and he's going on, just enjoying how much he's hurting her business. And then he said, yeah, and that square ninja that I saw you with. I hope y'all wasn't planning on starting a family. And she was like, you killed my effing lawyer. And of course, she wasn't about to sit up there and explain to him that she wasn't sleeping with him. So he just went with the route. Man, I don't care if it's your judge, your jury, your bailiff. He just started throwing out all the legal terms. But deep down, I think he knew that she was not lying about she wasn't romantically involved with him. But I think he was just kind of trying to save face at that point from the standpoint of, oh, what does it matter? You know, I saw you with somebody else. I didn't like it. I did something about it. But that was a pretty good scene. But I did also realize, though, that whenever you telling stories like this and then somebody comes back at you and says, well, how come you ain't dead? They always have a valid point when they ask that question. You know, all this and you not dead. Um, they had a family meeting minus Lou, so I've been noticing how absent Lou has been when it comes to street stuff. And Marvin talking about, see, I've been telling you that boy need a belt. He need the belt put to him. And it's like, y'all kill people for a living and sell drugs to people for a living. What part of this is you gonna put somebody on punishment or beat their butt with a belt? Like, we way past that. My great grandma, Jessie Robertson, rest in peace. Her saying that they tell me she used to tell to my aunts and my mom and all the elders of my family, when they ate, it's too late. My great grandma said when they ate, it's too late. So it rhymes and it's very simple. But all my great grandmother was saying, 19th and Center, by the way, mealtime. She's saying that you can't wait to discipline your kids. And think about that. 8 years old, that's like third grade. If you're not disciplining them by then, you don't get the right to try. Basically, after that, it's over. So, um, moving on from that, let me see what else was funny. Uh, By far, the funniest thing that's happened this season, and you have, let me see. So I'm in my late 40s. So I really grew up in the hip hop era. I really grew up on Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Poor Righteous Teachers. Who else am I leaving out? Yeah, X Clan, Big Daddy Kane. Kane, Big Daddy Kane's name literally means uh, king, Asiatic, nobody's equal. And then Rakim. Okay, so I say all that, Poor Righteous Teachers. I say all that to say, I feel like if you 35 or younger, what Marvin did right here is not gonna make you laugh. You're not gonna catch the reference. But if you guys did not know, it is very politically incorrect to call Asian people Orientals. You're supposed to call them Asians. But Oriental is like, I got an Oriental rug. You say that for a rug, but it's disrespectful to say that about the people. And so Italians being typical, well, at least mob affiliated Italians being typical of just kind of being racist and not caring about stuff like that. She was talking about how Rock dropped the ball with Quan because it opens the door for Quan to align with Unique. And so it say, the Orientals stick together. They're not like your people. The Orientals stick together. And then Marv was eating, and he said, no, original black man's Asiatic. And Stefano was like, Marv, I don't know what the F you're talking about. But Marv got so serious in one instant to correct this old Tony Danza, who's the boss, knockoff mobster Italian. The black man is the original Asiatic. But just to give you just a little bit more on why that's funny, um, the 5% Nation and the Nation of Islam, those are two divisions of regular Islam. So the Nation of Islam is Farrakhan, and then the 5% Nation is Wu-Tang Clan, Rakim, a lot of people rock Raekwon, a lot of people that go by that. Both the 5% Nation and the Nation of Islam says that black men really come from Asia and not Africa, and that Asia is where civilization began, and we were the first in civilization, and that's when the world was Pangea, and then it started breaking apart, and then we get Africa. So I don't know whether I believe that or not. I feel like we always trying to claim something else other than what it is. Like, we want to claim Asia, but we don't look like them. We don't have their traditions. We want to claim Native American instead of African when we don't look like them and we don't have their traditions. It it's okay to be African. You know what I'm saying? I'm not claiming to be the most pro-black person in the world, but my goodness, it's like we always running from the stuff that's obvious. But at any rate, I went on that too long, but that was so funny. I, Black man, the original Asiatic. All right. Thank y'all for entertaining me for that long with that. Um, oh, B-Rilla. I mean, was this a Trey? Let me out the car though. Was this a Boys in the Hood 1991 moment? Let me out the car, because he just got so shook when he realized there was gonna be some people there, it's supposed to be smash and grab. Ain't nobody supposed to be there. You the one asked for this mission. You the one said that you needed this to happen. And they gave you the courtesy when you said that you couldn't be when you couldn't be present. You know, they gave you the courtesy. However, they said, give me these keys because you're not leaving us. And he was so shook. You know, he pacing back and forth. And then when he saw a plan, when he saw it lighten up, I immediately said to myself, oh, somebody was shooting back. Somebody wasn't just trying to be no victim. And I thought it was the record executive. I thought the record executive kind of ran a trap for him by telling him he keeps his money in the house. And I thought he was going to be ready for B-Rilla and kill him. But turns out it was his friends who he rented his place out to. And they end up killing them. But I think his name was Samir or Shamir, ended up getting shot. And hey, we don't know if he gonna make it. You know, gunplay is not no, you know, play thing. You know, but yeah, but that was funny, especially because you know he be doing all that gun talk. He talking about all them guns and his songs, and then he see it, he like, man. All right, so we finally see Rock give the cops some money, and it was random that Kanan witnessed that. But from seeing Rock do that, he went to the conclusion that she was the one who had Famous killed. Y'all tell me. I'm gonna end this video here. Y'all tell me. Let me go back right quick. When Marvin said that Kanan needed a belt, and Rock looked at Juke and said, what we gonna do about your cousin? And her only words was, listen. She said, listen to him. Listen to what he's saying. And it was in that moment where Rock realized she didn't have Juke wrapped around her little finger. As close as they are, they got like a mother-daughter relationship. She saw that Juke thinks for herself, and I'm not going to go along with you against Kanan every time just because y'all don't like each other. But bringing it back to what I was saying, I just didn't want to forget that. Yeah, I just don't know for sure that Rock had this done to Famous or did this to him herself just because she was paying off cops. I guess the only thing that we can question as fans of Power is, why would she pay off the cops if she was done with her businesses? Because wasn't she trying to do the businesses as it started off as a front, and then she admitted she wanted to use her businesses to be done with selling drugs. And then later on she just said, I am what I am. You know, selling drugs is the only thing I'm good at. So if I'm right on that, then yeah, she paid the cops to do something to Famous, because there's no reason to pay them off if she's not paying for protection of her business getting vandalized, which is what they were doing. So, great episode, and we getting close to the end because I think there's only 3 left, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. This has been your 15-minute recap by Jay Spruill. Movies, music, sports, and life. Have a great weekend. 3, 2, 1.